plenty. Clap your hands, all ye nations. The reading is from the Acts of the Holy Apostles. In those days, as Peter went throughout all the regions, he found a certain man called Aeneas, who was bedridden for 8 years and was paralyzed. And Peter said to him, Aeneas, Jesus Christ heals you. Arise and make your bed. And immediately he arose, and all who dwelt at Lydda and Sharon saw him, and they turned back to the Lord. Now there was at Joppa a certain disciple named Tabitha, which means gazelle. She was full of good works and charitable deeds which she did. And it came to pass in those days that she fell sick and died. And when they had washed her, they placed her in an upper chamber. Since Lydda was near Joppa, the disciples, hearing Peter was there, sent 2 men to him, entreating him, Come to us without delay. So Peter arose and went with them, and when he arrived, they took him into the upper chamber. All the widows stood there with him weeping, showing the tunics and other garments which Tabitha had made. She was with them. But Peter put them all outside and knelt down and prayed. Then turning to the body, he said, Tabitha, arise. And she opened her eyes, and when she saw Peter, she sat up. And he gave her his hand and raised her up. Then he called the saints and widows and presented her alive. And it became known throughout all Joppa, and many believed in the Lord.
Peace be to thee that readeth.
Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia.
Wisdom attend, let us hear the holy gospel. Peace be to all.
And to thy spirit.
The reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. John.
Glory to thee.
Let us attend. At that time, Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Now there is in Jerusalem by the sheep gate a pool. In Hebrew, it's called Bethsaida, which has 5 porticos. In these lay a multitude of invalids, blind, lame, paralyzed, waiting for the moving of water, for an angel of the Lord went down at certain seasons into the pool. And the troubling of the water, whoever stepped in first after the troubling of the water was healed of whatever disease he had. One man was there who had been ill for 38 years. When Jesus saw him and knew that he had been lying there for a long time, he said to him, Do you want to be healed? The sick man answered him, Sir, I have no man to put me into the pool when the water is troubled, and while I am going down, another steps down before me. Jesus said to him, Arise, take up your pallet and walk. And at once the man was healed, and he took up his pallet and walked. Now that day was the Sabbath. So the Jews said to the man who was cured, It is the Sabbath, it is not lawful for you. And he said, Take up your pallet and walk. And they asked him, Who is the man who said to you, Take up your pallet and walk? Now the man who had been healed did not know who it was, for Jesus had withdrawn, and as there was a crowd in that place. Afterward, Jesus found him in the temple and said to him, See, you are well. Sin no more, that nothing worse befalls you. And the man went away and he told the Jews that it was Jesus who had healed him.